So yesterday I showed you guys this slide about directly proportionate. Remember that it's basically whenever you see the phrase directly proportion, it means direct variation. So when we're playing with direct variation, we're using y is equal to kx, where k is my constant, x is my independent variable, and y depends on what happens to x, so it's called the dependent variable. So let's look at a practice problem, but just deal with the numbers, no word problems yet, just a setup of working with y is equal to kx. So here's the first one. Suppose y varies directly as x, and y is 20 when x is 4. Find y when x is 9. So basically, what am I asking you? I'm asking you to find a new y value when x changes from 4 to 9. So whenever you see the phrase varies directly, you need to use y is equal to kx. You notice how y in this case, right here, goes in front of the phrase varies directly. Y varies directly. That means that y is my dependent variable, because directly as x tells me that whatever happens to x, it influences my dependent variable. So therefore, this x is my independent variable. Going back to this equation, step 1 is to write down the formula. Step 2 is to substitute in the information that they give you. So when y is equal to 20, so just write 20 where y is equal to k when x is 4. So what I'm looking for, in order to find the new y value, I need to find my k, or my constant. So I divide both sides by 4. Divide, that cancels out. 22 divided by 4 is equal to 5. So my k, my constant, is 5. Now that I know my constant is 5, I just rewrite it x. And now I substitute in this new x to find the new y. So y is equal to 5 times 9, and y is equal to 45. So my final answer is when x is equal to 9, y is 45, because it varies directly. Let's look at another practice problem. Suppose z varies directly as x, and z is equal to 15 when x is equal to 2. This one's the same setup, but instead of y, z varies directly as x. So that means I need to use z is equal to kx. This is a different version of y is equal to kx. Remember that x and y are just variables that we use. Independent, dependent variables will remain the same. So you can use z, y, you use any letter that means the same, but k will always stay the same. So again, we plug in the information. We know that 15 is z is equal to k when x is 2. Do some math. Divide both sides by 2. This cancels out. K is equal to 7.5. Now that I know that k is equal to 7.5, I substitute it in for the new value over here. So again, I'm looking for z is equal to 7.5 times my new x value they want me to substitute in is 8. Multiply that by 8. You can use a calculator or do some quick mental math, and you know z is equal to 60. Let's go to a word problem. The amount of sales tax on a new car is directly proportional to the purchase price. So the new car is directly sales tax. It's directly proportionate to the purchase price of the car. Ask yourself, what influences what? Does the taxes influence the amount of car, the price of the car, or does the price of the car influence the tax? So the sales tax on a new car is directly proportionate. So it's sitting in front of the phrase directly proportionate. So you know that that's going to be my y. So I'm going to use this y is equal to kx. And the question is, what is the purchase price of a new car which has $3,500 sales tax? So now I need to use the information they give me to figure out my new value of my car. So in order to do that, I have to use the information they give me, which is the car. If the car is $25,000, the sales tax is $1,750. So again, what influence each other? So I'm going to go ahead and say that $1,750 sales tax is equal to K times X, which is the price of my car. This is the only correct setup. The other setup, if you put 17, if you put this where 25,000 is, you'll get a different relationship. So now I divide both sides by 25,000. And I'm going to get 1750 divided by 25. And I get this percent. Why do I need to know this percent? Because that's my new constant. Because I have this percent, that's my constant, I can quickly rewrite y is equal to 7% or 700 times x. There's my new formula or new equation that will give me the sales tax of any amount of the price of the car. So let's go back to the problem, and the tax that I got was 3,500, so that means I get 3,500 is equal to 0.07x. I'm looking for the independent variable, which is the price of the new car. I divide both sides by 0.7, 0.7. This cancels out. The price of my new car is, the calculator, 3,500 divided by 700. The price of my new car is $50,000. Okay, so make sure you write it in a complete sentence. When sales tax is 3,500, the price of the car is $50,000. Okay, we got one more problem. The cost of a house in Florida is proportionate to the size of the house. A 2,850 square foot house costs $182,400. Then what is the cost of a 3,640 square foot house? So now we need to figure out what's happening. What's proportionate to each other? So the cost house in Florida is proportionate to the size of the house. Okay, so the size of the house is going to be my independent variable. So my IV, my independent variable, is the size of the house. My dependent variable, that's the cost. So since I have my independent variable and my dependent variable, I know this is technically x and this is technically y. So directly proportional says I need to use y is equal to kx. So let's use the information they already gave us. The fact that a 2,850 square foot house times some constant, some unknown constant, is equal to $182,400 house. Now we need to figure out that percent, that tax. That's, excuse me, in this case we're looking for the price per square foot. Divide both sides by 2,850. This cancels out, and the price per square foot is equal to, I believe it should be 60. Whoops, too much. 182,400 divided by 2,850, 64. That's close. So that means that the price per square foot is 64. Why do I need to know that? Well, now that I know that the price per square foot is $64, I am going to use that to figure out the cost of a house with 3,640. So y is equal to 64x. Y is equal to 64 times 3,640. Y is then equal to 64 times 3,640, and the price of my new house is $232,960. So the house with a square footage of 3,640 costs $232,960. And that's all I really have for today. These are some practice problems with directly proportionate problem. Try the bookwork after the investigation. If you have any questions, please email me this weekend. You can also ask Ms. Davis on Monday when she comes in to talk to you guys about inverse variation. But remember, y is equal to kx is what I play with, and then I kind of just always ask, am I looking for k for my constant? Am I looking for my independent variable? Or am I looking for my dependent variable? Okay, have a good weekend, guys.